Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with Whiskey Blue.
And
And
Eric too.
hey, what's up, Eric? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. Um, I took the entire day off today.
Sometimes it's necessary.
Sometimes it is definitely necessary to do that. And we are here tonight doing an episode titled More Than HIV. And we have our special guest with us tonight who goes by DJ.
It's
What's up?
me.
How you doing?
I'm good, and y'all?
Doing
Good.
well.
Good.
And just to let everybody know, um, we have not been doing our shows every Thursday as we originally planned to. But we definitely wanted to do this particular show on tonight. And so let's talk about being more than HIV. DJ definitely has information and that he can give to us and help people, because I think this we just got finished celebrating I guess you would say it was World AIDS Day. You know,
On the
is
December
it
first,
1st.
is it proper to say celebrating though?
I
Um,
had questioned that myself. I mean, it's not. It's a celebration of the lives that lived, but it is not a celebration that we lost them. So
Um,
I questioned that myself. I don't know how else to put it. Memorial Day. I don't
yeah,
know.
I would say it's kind of like a Pride Month type of thing. So it's really all of December, but like the main day would be December 1st.
okay.
Right.
All right. So let's start off here. I myself, you know, am a person that is living with HIV, and I'm grateful that I am still living. And this is a day and time that so many advances have been made when it comes to HIV and treatment and so forth and so on, that I'm grateful that I'm able to be on a one pill regimen that keeps me undetectable and everything like that, which keeps I just recently saw my doctor, my infectious disease doctor, my ID. So anyone that's watching, if you hear the term ID, I'm talking about my infectious disease doctor and everything like that. And I did my labs, and my CD4 count is like 1400 and above. So that's a good thing. That means that the my viral load is undetectable, and it's not having an effect on my immune system. It's not killing my immune system and everything like that. And I'm grateful to God for that. I have been positive since 2012, but I wasn't diagnosed until January the 1st, 2013, because I was in the midst of serial converting. And whatever test they originally used, it did not show that I had been infected. But after about 3 months of me being sick, they found out, and they pretty much said that, hey, you have had a new infection and you were serial converting and everything like that. And that's when I found out. And many people would think that that would be one of the worst things to find out, but I can honestly say for me that it was a bittersweet moment, because I was grateful to find out why I had been so sick. But also because of it, I realized I had other situations going on health wise that, had I not been so sick, I wouldn't have discovered those other things that were even more detrimental to my health than that, because I knew that the advancements in HIV and everything, and studying and doing work and treatment and stuff like that, that it wasn't no longer a death sentence for me, you know. But I had so many other things, because I was a man, a man that did not take care of his health. And so oftentimes men don't take care of themselves, health wise and staying up with their health so they can prevent stuff. So that's my little brief story of how I came to understand and know that I was HIV positive. But I'm so much more than that. And I thought this show was so great to do tonight because I'm more than HIV. I'm greater than, some people say greater than, or more than, but I am definitely more than my diagnosis. What you got to say, Eric?
Well, I agree. We are definitely more than just the infection. We still have lives to live and dreams to hopefully obtain. It can be very daunting because you still have. I explained it to my doctor one time years ago. It's like, okay, I also feel like along with HIV, the chronic fatigue syndrome kind of like attached itself to it because I stay tired, there are days where it's like, damn, I just don't want to get out of bed. I don't have the energy to do anything. And I know that's my body saying, maybe today you need to rest. And that's okay. You don't have to go 90 to nothing every day. But I was diagnosed in 1989. So 36 years ago, which is more than half of my life, I have been HIV positive. Being diagnosed in the 80s period was not a good thing. It was scary. It was, your life is over. I took the information and put it in the back of my head and went on about my life. I didn't start medicine right away, which in hindsight, I am glad I didn't, because what was the pill called?
Was it AZT?
AZT. They have found that was just poison. And it actually caused a lot of people to pass away because they were taking that. I actually didn't start taking medicine until, oh God, I want to say like 2000 or 1999. I don't remember. It was right around that time. Now I take it religiously before I get out of bed and when I go to bed. And again, like you were saying, Whiskey, I'm very thankful that the medicine has advanced so much that it's not such an ordeal. I don't think about it every day other than, okay, I've got to take my medicine, but I take medicine for other stuff too. So it's just one of the pills I have to take. But we are living longer. Like I said before, we still have dreams and aspirations, and there's so much more to it and people, I don't think people understand. It's not the only thing about us. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit, I'm sure. It does not define me. It does not make me less than another person, but it gives me, I don't know, in my opinion, a great deal of insight as to how important life is and how we go about living it.
Okay. DJ, pop on in here and jump on in here because you work in the field.
Yes.
You are an educator. You are an advocate. and helping people. From what I understand, because now we have PrEP,
Mm-hmm.
or and stuff like that. So there are ways that medicines are available now to help people so they never become positive, and stuff like that. So they have. I wish I was aware of that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
earlier, so that I never had to actually become HIV positive myself. But talk to us about, because there are so many myths as well when it comes to HIV and AIDS. A lot of people lump HIV and AIDS together, and they have some connection, but because a person is HIV positive doesn't mean that they are AIDS defined. When
Mm-hmm.
at one time, if you had HIV, you had AIDS.
Yep.
But there is a difference between that now, and it has to do with numbers and so forth and so on. Talk to us about that, DJ.
Yeah, so basically, like you all said, medicine since HIV was discovered has definitely evolved. So I'm gonna start off with HIV first, and then I'll talk about PrEP. So with medicine, like you said, it was different changes. People found out it wasn't the best at the time, but now they have zoned in on it. So the most common medicine you'll hear is like Biktarvy, and things like that. But that's if you're taking the pills. So there's an option now where you can have an injectable or an injection. So when it comes to pills, usually, or at least in the field that I'm in my area, it's prescribed at 3 months at a time for PrEP. So when it comes to the HIV medication, you get your pills for, cover you about a month. But there's also a medication with the injection called Cabenuva. With the Cabenuva, it's an injection you get every 2 months. So for the people who don't like to take a pill every day or have to go through the hassle of trying to remember to take that pill, or especially at the same time, it gives ease of mind, just get up and go. But starting it, you get your first loading dose, then you come back a month later. So that first dose is just so it can get settled into your body, gets used to it, and then it's every 2 months. So as long as you're on time with your injections, it's very hard not to stay undetectable. Versus the pill, let's say you forget to take your pill for a while, or there's something like insurance issues where you aren't able to get your medication. It's a possibility that at some point, depending on your numbers, that you will become detectable again. However, if you do, that doesn't mean that you can't get it back under control. So just as soon as you can, get everything figured out, start back taking your medicine. So then I'm going to transition to PrEP. Like you stated before, PrEP is medication for people who are, as we say, HIV negative, don't have HIV, and it prevents you from getting it. So there are some situations where you have a couple. Let's say one is positive, one is negative. So the person that's negative, they take their PrEP medication. The chances of them getting HIV is basically slim to none.
No,
Just like
I'm sorry, I have a question. Does
uh
that also include if they don't have safe sex?
yes, it
Really?
does.
Okay. Okay.
So let's say like for a married couple, l- really put it out there. Once you're married, the chances of you using protection kind of go like out the window.
Right.
So if somebody is HIV positive, others negative, and the person who's negative takes PrEP, as long as they're taking that medication, chances of that kind of coming between each other doesn't happen.
Awesome.
Um, so just like how there's a pill and an injection for HIV positive people, same thing with PrEP. So with PrEP, you usually would hear like Descovy, Truvada. Those are the main two pills. Like there's a whole nother list of things depending on what your insurance covers, what your body can tolerate. But those are like the top two. And then for the injection, it's called Apretude. So same thing like with Cabenuva, get your first loading dose, come back a month later, every 2 months, get that injection, you're good. Um, so you have options now. It's whatever you want to do. You can
Right.
prevent it, whether you have it, either way it goes, take your medication, chances of passing it on goes out the window. Because now that's just HIV medication. You also have medication now that's called doxypep. Doxypep, kind of like how my coworkers describe it, it's like the plan B of other STIs. So gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, the other top three. Let's say you have unprotected sex, or you go on a trip and you get into something that you wasn't usually planning. If you take your doxypep, which will be 2 pills, no, yes, 2 pills, within a 72-hour window of your last sexual encounter, it's like Plan B. Take that
Really?
pill, you don't have it, but you have to take it within that 72-hour window. So if it goes beyond that, chances of possibly having those other STIs, you might have to go get tested and figure that out. But if you're in within that 72-hour window or 3 days, um, it's you can kind of just have as much fun as you want, but know that you're not passing nothing on. You're not catching anything at the same time.
Can
So
I
sex.
can I pop in and ask a question real
Hmm.
quick, DJ? You're talking about other STIs if you take
Hmm.
doxy prep, doxy pep,
Doxy pep. Yep. So
doxy pep.
gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis. Those are the ones that they cover.
Wow. Wow. Now that's something I didn't know.
Yeah,
I,
that's what I'm saying. Medicine is
I
truly
wish
like
I had heard
saying,
about it before.
yeah. Don't quote me on how long it's um been like in the field, but at least within the past year or two, that has been one of the growing things as far as STI medication goes.
Okay.
I
Wow.
on another podcast, um, this gentleman was saying if you have, and I forget how old he was, but he's like, if you have not gotten an STI and sexually active in your whole life, you're not having real sex. So I'm like, oh, I believe that, but no shaming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's at least now there's so many more options
Hmm.
that we didn't have.
Because
So,
also think of like people who are like sex workers. They do this for a living.
right.
Depending on the client, you don't know how things will go. So you have options to still protect yourself and do what you need to do at the end of the day.
That's
Right.
awesome.
Hmm.
Now, one of the things I've often shared with people because of the advancement in medication, let's talk real quick because there's so much of a stigma that's still attached to being HIV positive,
Hmm.
and everything like that. And I think it's important to educate people because we'll never eradicate stigma without education because knowledge is power, you know.
Exactly.
And one of the things that was unique to me years ago, I found this out, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that undetectable means untransmittable.
Yes, we call
So
that U equals U.
you equals you. And
Hmm.
I went to AHU, which was the African American HIV University in California.
Hmm.
That was hosted by Black AIDS Institute and everything like that. And they asked us questions when we first got to class that we had to answer, and then by the end of the sessions and everything like that, then they gave us the test all over to see what we learned.
Hmm.
And one of the questions that they asked, it said that if you are undetectable and you have unprotected sex, that the chances are slim to none or none. It actually said that you would become positive. And it was a true or false. I said, that's false. But I found out later, as I was in the training and in the classes, that was actually true.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell people, number one, where a lot of people don't want to even be involved with someone that's HIV positive. For someone that's HIV positive, that's taking their medicine, they're undetectable, they're untransmittable, it's safer to be with them than to be with someone that don't know their status.
Exactly.
Mm.
So I think that's something that people need to know, because it's so important for people who are HIV positive to take their medicine and stay undetectable, because number one, it's going to help you to stay undetectable and protect your immune system and everything like that. But then for the people that you are with, you're protecting them as well, as long as you stay undetectable.
Exactly. Like, I'll say, let's just take sex off the table. Just think about getting into a relationship, trying to find love. Stigma, somebody says, oh, I have HIV, automatically, oh, well, we can't have a life. How would that work? But then you come around and say, I'm undetectable. I have medication for it. The chances of you catching it won't happen as long as I'm on my medication regimen. So it comes back to the person with knowledge of what's going on, but also the chance to not limit yourself from possibly finding your soulmate or the person that you're supposed to be with. You know, that's just another bump in the road. It shouldn't stop you from saying, hey, let's explore and see where we can go with this. So it gives freedom of choice also.
Right. And I think all three of us agree with that. But I find that scenario leaves the responsibility to the HIV positive person,
Mm-hmm.
when the other person also has an option of PrEP, excuse me, that if they're so concerned about it, they can be taking that also, and nothing will happen.
Mm-hmm.
You will hopefully get into a relationship where it's loving and caring, and y'all don't want to be separated for anything. And HIV would be the last thought on their mind, because we've dealt with that. But also, the stigma of people being HIV positive, it's like you can't get infected if I'm undetectable.
Mm-hmm.
But still, no, you're HIV positive. I don't care how nice of a guy you are, or how, all of these things we have in common. I don't want to go down that road from their point of view. So not only say I would be missing out on a relationship, so would they. But if they would educate themselves, like you've been talking about, DJ, I don't see anything but rainbows and unicorns at that point, because there's no reason to worry about it.
Right. It's nothing stopping you at that point but you.
Right.
Let me ask a question, put a question out there. What are some things that either one of you could offer to someone who is HIV positive, to help them move from surviving to thriving? Because a lot of people, once they find out that they or they're diagnosed as HIV positive, it becomes like a surviving thing, first of all. But when you're more than HIV, as you continue to grow, you don't have to, once you get into treatment, you know what I'm saying, and get into care and everything like that, and the things that you need to do to take care of yourself and everything like that, then you can actually make a transition from that being in that survival mode to the mode of where you're actually thriving, going forth with your life.
Yeah. I would say it's kind of like the stages of grief in a way. You
Hmm.
know, you have the denial and then you have the acceptance. It's kind of like that. Of course, nobody wants to hear that they have HIV. So of course it's like, boom, my life is about to change. But like we said, with how science is today, it's really just a small change. It's not something that's really stopping you or really gonna hurt you down the line as long as you're doing what you need to do. So like how we are in my clinic, if there is somebody that we have to let them know, hey, your result came back positive. Um, we first give them a pause because you don't want to just then load them with information. Okay, you have to do this, this, and that. It's like let them process. You know,
Yeah.
some people are they'll say, okay, what are my next steps? Some people have to say, you know what, give me some time. I will come back around to it. That gives the person the choice. Um, but after that comes the education. So everything we've been talking about right now, there's medication you can take to help keep everything under control. Because HIV now, what, a couple months ago, it was labeled as common as like having diabetes or some high blood pressure. You just take your medication for that. It's not something that's going to stop you. As long as you do what you're supposed to do, everything will be all right.
Isn't that
So
amazing?
yeah, like what some people, well, everybody body is different, but I'm scenario, start your medication within the next 6 months, check your levels again, you're undetectable. I'll say at that point, start to think of it just as, hey, I need to take my fiber pill today. You know, it's just something that you just have to throw in there, continue to live your life. It's not going to stop because, like you said, Eric, back in the 80s, earlier when everything was first discovered, it was labeled a death sentence because
Yeah.
there wasn't the medication in place. There wasn't enough research on it. So once you heard HIV, it was like waiting for the inevitable to happen, you know. But now you see people, as we say, living or growing with HIV. So people are making it to their 60s, 70s, have had it for a good chunk of their life. You see them living, thriving. You can do the same. So once you hear HIV, it shouldn't be, all right, let's pack it up. There's nothing else for me to do. It should be, all right, let me take more control of my life. What else do I need to do? Because a lot of males, we live in a college town. You're coming from being on your parents' insurance, always having them set up your appointments. It's kind of like, in a way, shaping you up to take control of your life because now you're about to become a young adult. These are things you're going to have to start doing on your own. So, just outside of HIV, what all do you need to get checked? Go to the doctor, go to your visits, do what you need to do to make sure you're living a happy, healthy life.
Right.
Right. And thank you for sharing, Tanya. We appreciate you being here with us on tonight. Thank you for sharing that for sure. Um, I want to say, and just as we talked about things like I'm not only HIV positive, I'm on blood pressure medication because of hypertension. And when I wasn't taking my medication like I should for blood pressure, I had 2 strokes because I didn't take my medication the way I need to take them. You know, now I'm in the midst of doing peritoneal dialysis every night, you know. And before I started, I was very tired and everything. Now that I'm doing it, it's helping to get those toxins out of my body that my kidneys does not do work the way I need them to work or they used to work, But I have a machine that because I connect to the machine, it gets rid of the impurities. So it's the same way people need to understand when it comes to HIV. When it comes to like when you were talking about diabetes, if a person is a diabetic, you have to be careful about what you eat. You know, you have to take your medicine for that as well. You know, because if you don't, it can affect your kidneys, just like blood pressure can affect. It wasn't HIV that affected my kidneys. It was me not taking care of blood pressure all of those years because I didn't go to the doctor. I was so focused on helping other people, you know what I mean, and worrying about everybody else that I didn't care for myself. It's so unique how you can have almost like a love and concern for everyone else, putting everyone else before
But not
you,
for
and not
yourself.
taking care of yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's just like I've heard a quote, I can't remember where. Um, if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of others?
Yes, exactly. DJ, I want to go back to when you first find out that you're HIV positive, and you had mentioned going through grief.
Hmm.
Um, especially in the 80s, it was denial, grief, panic. Um, and finally, after a couple of years, you realize you're not dying yet. So what's going on?
Hmm.
Um, and to touch on what was said earlier, becoming or getting from living to thriving, I can only speak for myself. It is a process, and I'm sure it will take certain people longer or certain people a shorter period of time. But um, I think I finally reached the thriving point. I don't worry about what is under control. Why worry about it? Um, there are things, like I said, there are still. I'm a human being. I'm still valued or should be valued as a human being. Everyone should, not just me. But just because you're HIV, whether you're just starting your journey with it or you've been around a while with it, you will begin to notice that. And I know this sounds a little callous, but I don't mean it that way. It's not doom and gloom, especially nowadays.
Hmm.
Before, man, it was, you were done. You were done. Um, and I really hope that people listen to what DJ you have said about the advances in our medicine and realize that it's going to be okay. It'll
Hmm.
be okay. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, it really does for a couple of different reasons. You still have the stigma. Um, you have to convince somebody who is not educated about the virus that you're not a danger to them, which in today's society really irritates the piss out of me because it's like, not only is it part of the gay community, but it is um, straight women, straight men are also being infected. So we need to educate everyone, not just our gay community. Did we lose DJ?
I don't know. I'm just while you were talking, I'm just waiting for him to come back on.
Okay. Um, so whatever, you know, what I was trying to get at is the gay community should be more educated themselves than anyone else. We should know more than Miss what's her name down the street who had just become HIV positive for whatever reason. We should be able to acknowledge that it's not a death sentence. We're not harmful to other people as long as we're undetectable and taking our medicine. But again, we still have the stigma that we basically have to educate any person that should already be educated. That's very irritating. It's like, this is part of your community, not just Pride Day, not just, getting married, blah, blah, blah. You should know this information simply because of who you are. It affected us first. So
And
don't.
I also think that we need to remind people that are watching. Yeah, it was in the beginning. It was labeled as a gay disease, or the gay community. But
The
the
gay
reality,
cancer.
right? But the reality is that we're living in a period of time now where it affects everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a gay disease. It's not an LGBTQI plus situation only. Everybody, anybody can become, diagnosed, or if you don't do what you need to do, you know what I'm saying? If you are having sex, period, you know what I'm saying, you need to be protecting yourself. You know what I mean? Doing something like what DJ was talking about PrEP and everything. And then I also agree with you, Eric, that the gay community, need to be educated. But everybody, we just need, if we don't become educated about this, then the stigma will continue to linger and linger and linger and linger. And ignorance is a bad thing because of the lack of knowledge. People perish. You know what I'm saying? It's because
Right.
of ignorance. We gotta educate people. People who are positive need to be educated. People who are not positive need to be educated. Whether you're gay, straight, whatever, you need to be educated about HIV and so many other things. But we live in a period of time that you can take care of yourself. And we have to eradicate the stigma. The only way to do that is through education. Good to have you back, DJ.
Thank you. Sorry, technical difficulties. But since we're taking this little brief pause while I'm talking, I want to piggyback off of what you just said, Whiskey, about education and how it needs to be anybody, not just any LGBTQ community. Because, for example, in where I work, we also have a harm reduction team. So people who do injection drugs, whether it's, you're doing insulin or, your recreational drugs, they provide you the tools to do it safely. So clean needles, clean syringes, things like that. Because let's say you partake in a drug where you have to inject yourself. There's sometimes people will share a needle and you don't know what that person has going on who used the needle before you. So HIV isn't just from sex; it's also from sharing syringes, things like that. So anything where there's blood contact is where you are opening yourselves up to a chance of contracting something like that. So it's also not just sex, it's also doing injection drugs or sharing needles. So that opens it up to even more people of possibly catching it, not just, oh, you're gay, yeah, you're more likely to get it. No, we're not the only ones. It's so many more people who can contract it in different ways.
While you were gone, DJ, that's exactly what I was saying, is that I'm so irritated with the gay community it hit us first.
Mm-hmm.
We should know what's going on better than anybody else. But we also need to acknowledge that Mr. and Mrs. down the street with 5 kids, it's starting to infect this. Well, it has for a long time, but it is, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think now more straight people are becoming infected than gay people. Is that wrong or right?
I will say it plays a part in it, yes, because let's say this is kind of like our lingo, but people who are down low, DLs, people who haven't fully accepted, you are more than just a straight male or female. You want to open yourself up to other partners, with not wanting to talk about issues like that because you're so stuck on trying to keep yourself a secret. You possibly have contracted it, and because you don't want to get tested, and then you're continuing to pass it on without even knowing. And like you said, Mr. and Mrs. down the street, now you done had sex with your girlfriend or your partner or whatever, and then they go get tested, and it's like, well, how did I get this if I'm only messing with my boyfriend or my partner? Things like that. It's keeping things in the dark will only make things worse.
I agree.
Yeah. I had something pulled up here online so I can just put this out there so that people get this. And this particular episode is so educational all the way through for people who are even just popping on now. How do you get HIV? The most common way to get HIV is through unprotected anal or vaginal sex with someone, listen to this, who is unaware they have HIV or who does not have the HIV control with antiretroviral treatment or ARVs. Sharing needles, syringes, or other injection drug equipment with someone with HIV can also result in infection. That's what DJ was just talking about. HIV can be passed during pregnancy, birth, or through breastfeeding. But ongoing ARV treatment to achieve and maintain viral suppression both during pregnancy and postpartum substantially reduces the risk of perinatal transmission to less than 1%. And these are things that you all need to know. There's this information, so much information online, but you can educate yourself. And one of the things that people need to know, because this is one of the things that a lot of people believe, and I'll tell you some stories, HIV is not spread through casual contact, such as hugging or shaking hands,
Sharing a drink,
sharing.
smoking, if you will. It's not saliva at all.
Even, saliva or tears, and unless you have an open wound and an HIV person has an open wound and you literally stick them together, yeah, that's an issue. But helping someone who is cut that is HIV just by hand, as long as you don't have any open sores on your hand, that's not going to infect you. It's okay to still be humane and a good neighbor. If somebody's in trouble, please help them. Don't, even if you're concerned about it, get tested after. But my biggest fear is I'll be laying on the sidewalk somewhere and people will just walk by me and not even give a damn if I'm dying or not. And that, I guess, stems from being HIV so long that people weren't claimed at the funeral home because they were too embarrassed. They left bodies behind the funeral home. I mean, just these horrible things. I guess that's my stigma that I need to deal with because, one, I don't think humanity has gotten that bad yet. Not yet. But I would stop and help anybody if they were in trouble. I would hope someone else would do the same for me.
Right.
So that's, you're not going to get it from tears. just casual blood. I mean, you have to be very specific on how you contract HIV, which is from anal or vaginal sex or HIV or drugs.
Injection drugs.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I just had a brain fart.
You're good.
So yeah, I just
And in order for that to happen, it has to be with someone who's not on treatment or
Yes,
someone
and
who does not know.
I'm
You know what I'm saying?
glad, Eric, that you said just because somebody's needing help and they have HIV, that shouldn't prevent you, because there's also NPEP and PEP. NPEP is non-occupational prophylaxis, yada yada yada. Either way it go, one is for work, one is non-work related things, kind of like a work comp thing. So let's say, like the homeless shelter here that we have in town. Somebody was helping a client clean up their belongings, and they used injection drugs. That person didn't know that they had a needle in their bag that was used, and they got poked. So the person came into our clinic like, oh my gosh, I got stuck with their needle. They have HIV. I have it now. Slow up. There's medication for that as well.
right.
So it's one of those, as soon as the situation happens, come in, ask for PEP if it's for work related things, or in PEP if it's outside of work. And you can get kind of like Doxy PEP, like I said, a plan B type of thing. You have medication that will prevent you from contracting that disease. Now, with NPEP, it's kind of a different regimen. It's not like oh, you need to take this for the rest of your life type of thing. Like I'll let uh, a nurse provider or somebody like that really explain, break that down to you in the moment. But it, bottom line, there's protection regardless of the situation that you're in. You just have to be open up to receiving that help and that knowledge. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, the advances in today's treatments from every aspect of it is a million times better.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're living longer, and we still have a true and honest life to live. So,
let me put out there and talk to us about this, if you will, DJ. But I want to say, if you're out there and you believe you may, no, let me just say it this way: get tested, get tested, get tested. The best way to do is get tested. It's better to know than to not know. Because
right.
if you get tested, if you find out that you are positive, then you can start medications that will get you undetectable. If you're out there and you don't know, just get tested so that you can find out. How difficult is it to get people to test these days?
I will say, from the different events where we have had outreach testing, whether it's going to a college campus or a church event, just out in a community where we say, hey, we're providing free STI testing. Keyword free. You know, people love free. It's not costing you anything. You would think more people would want to just say, hey, well, let me go figure it out. But a lot of people, it's still that stigma. Oh, I'm not a part of the LGBTQ community. I don't need to see if I'm getting HIV testing done today. But they're open up to getting gonorrhea and chlamydia. I kind of describe it like, would you like to supersize that? It's like, just go ahead, tack it on. You're already here. The more you know, the better. If that's one less trip you have to take, It gives you peace of mind. The more you know, the better. But I'll say, at least just in our area, if we're at a college campus for 8 hours, I will only see maybe 5 people come get tested. So unless there's an incentive to say, hey, if you come get free STI testing, we'll go ahead and give you a free ticket to the club event tonight. You get that. Oh, I'm in there like swimmer because who wants to pay for the club? But I'm also like, it's still free testing. It shouldn't have to have an extra caveat for you to figure out what's going on with your body and your protection.
Right.
So it's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink type situation.
Right.
Are people in such denial that it can happen to them?
Yes. Some people say, oh, I only have the same partner every time we have sex. But that's what you know. You
Right.
don't know what that other person is doing.
Right. And we want to believe that true love is going to be honest and nothing will ever happen. They will never stray. They'll never, have a afternooner,
Hmm.
Yes, I want to believe in true love and that would be the norm. That is not how real life works. Whether you trust that person or not, I hate to say, yes, love that person and trust that person, but be smart, protect yourself.
Yes, love and trust
If
yourself first.
Yeah, if you, I cringe thinking about it, that this young girl who's madly in love and they just got married, but you know, he had a wild night the night before. And now, 6 months down the road, she's extremely ill for some reason.
Hmm.
Why? And then she ends up going to the hospital. They eventually test her for HIV, and she's HIV when he was the only one that she's ever been with,
Hmm.
or vice versa. I mean, I'm assuming females do it the same as guys, but it just, it's like, yes, we want to believe in true love and devotion and honesty, but we live in the real world. That nowadays, I honestly think that is a friggin' fairy tale.
Hmm.
So the best thing you can do is protect yourself. No matter how much you love the person, I don't care. You'll lay down your life for them, whatever. You will if you don't get yourself
Amen.
tested.
Hmm.
And the reality is that there are so many other things out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even if a person is HIV positive, if they are going outside of that relationship and being with other people and they're not using protection, then they can have other STIs as well. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So people need to know that as well. But we've got some great information tonight because I learned tonight that there's medication that people can take to even help in those situations, to keep them if they
Hmm.
start doing it within a certain period of time after they have been what's the word? I don't want to say infected. I don't want to use that word, but
Um,
there's a different word that I'm looking for.
they transmitted something.
Yeah, they've been something has been transmitted to them, or they've transmitted to somebody else.
Hmm.
So it's good to know this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't remember if back in before 2013 if there was already prep out or pep and everything. That maybe it was. One thing for sure, I didn't take it because I ended up HIV positive. I definitely wasn't using no condom, saying stuff like that. But had I known and been better educated back then, I would have been on prep or PEP.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And if you are if you are exposed, that's what the word I was looking for, exposed within a period of time, if you think you've been exposed, go to a clinic or the doctor or the health department, and so that you can get medication that will help keep you from converting to being HIV positive if you take that medicine within a 72-hour period. That's good
Mhm.
information.
Yeah, it's just like with females when they have unprotected sex. Oh, am I pregnant? You go get a test, right? It it should honestly be the same type of ideology.
Yeah.
Or let's say on the flip side, we were saying you're the person who says, "Oh, I love my partner; they can do no wrong." Let's say you are the partner who knows that you might step out and do your own little things on the side. Be honest with yourself, protect yourself, so that when you do come back to the partner that has the whole faith and loving affection that they say they have for you, to have not have something come down their life.
Right.
It,
DJ, I have a question. How difficult is it for a person to get on PrEP? What's the process of getting PrEP?
it's like lickety split. Um, so it, like I said, it depends on your insurance. If you have Medicaid or don't have insurance, that's honestly the I always say the best route, because people think if you have Medicaid or you don't have insurance, oh no, I can't even start this medication. Not at all. Like at least in Illinois, I can say there are different state grants that will pay and cover for the medication, so that's not even something you have to worry about.
So do you
Like
go to the health department?
the health department, your primary care doctor, honestly, any medical facility that has primary general care, that's where you want to go.
Okay.
Because there's like a grant called Prep for Illinois. All you have to do is, like, I'm a case manager. So I'm the one running the appointments doing the STI testings. You say you want to sign up for Prep. Let's say you don't have insurance. I say I'm signing you up for Prep for Illinois. All I need is proof of your address from the past 90 days. Even if you're homeless, it doesn't matter. There are different forms for that. I send it in. I get a response within what 2 to 5 days,
Really?
and it'll get sent to your nearest pharmacy. If we're going the pill route, if it's the injection, I'll say it'll take like a week, because depending on the facility, some facilities have the medication in house. Some facilities need the pharmacy to send the medication to them, because a
Mhm.
nurse has to administer it. It's not something you can give yourself like an insulin shot.
Right.
But yeah, turnaround time, something like that, could be about a week. So don't waste time.
Right.
Literally, it could come to you the very next day if you do have insurance. Like I know Blue Cross Blue Shield, one of the big brand insurance companies, they just changed their policies that they accept prep prescriptions, and you don't need a prior authorization for it. Cause that's another thing with other some insurance. You need a prior authorization first, and then go through these hoops and hurdles. I'll say don't worry about that. Just come in with your concerns. Let the clinician, the case manager, or whatever, fill out whatever they need. They're going to get you the help that you need.
Okay. That's awesome. Because I had heard several years ago that it was this person I knew was having a hard time getting on PrEP.
Hmm.
I think kind of when it started first coming out, and I had not updated myself on that information. So thank you.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, it's not hard.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you take it? It's like taking a vitamin.
Hmm.
So
Let me just say this to people that are watching or that watch this particular episode. Please stop treating people that you know are HIV positive, like they can't sit on your toilet, they can't drink out of your glasses. I have heard so many horror stories, from people who are HIV positive, that they've gone to their family's house and their family won't let them drink out of their glasses or eat off of their plates. They give them paper cups and stuff like that. And that's ignorance, that you cannot become HIV positive from letting someone drink out of a glass. DJ was talking about this, or you cannot become HIV positive from smoking behind someone or drinking out of a glass behind someone. So many of them. Educate yourself and stop acting out of ignorance and hurting people because you don't understand or know the facts. That a lot of that stuff that you believe, they are myths. They are not the facts. As we come to a close, because we're already after the hour and everything like that, but I want to ask this question. How, and I can answer it first, but how do you define yourself beyond, how, and this is for anyone that's even watching tonight, if you're HIV positive, if you're watching the archived version of this, how do you define yourself beyond HIV? Because for me, yes, I'm HIV positive, but I'm so much more than that. I'm kind, I'm loving, what I'm saying? I'm giving, I'm a singer, I just love having people in my life. I play rummy, I'm a spades player. I like to bowl, what I'm saying?
Do you bowl well? Is the question, Whiskey. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
Watch,
just kidding.
watch yourself, DJ. Watch yourself. Actually, I can play pretty well. You know what I'm saying? So we need to get out there at the bowling alley real soon so we can play again because I need some
Yes, sir.
practice.
Yes.
But how that's what I want to ask people. Because there are some people that once they find out that they're positive, they think that that's all it is to them. But it's up to you to define yourself beyond your diagnosis, and that's how I define myself and so much more. I'm a digital content creator, you know what I'm saying? I'm a recording artist, all of that stuff beyond my diagnosis of being HIV positive. But I share about my being HIV positive because for me, I think it's not enough for me to just know it myself and keep it to myself. I want to help encourage other people that there's more to it than that. And you can have a life so much further and beyond your diagnosis. Talk to me, brothers, as we come to a close tonight.
Go ahead, DJ.
I'll say HIV, like I said, it's as common as any other medical condition. You always hear high blood pressure, diabetes. Think of it just as, oh, I have a scratch. I need to get my Band-Aid. Oh, I have HIV. Let me take my medication. It's honestly as simple as that. You can still be the best person you can be. It's not stopping you at all. Like, live your life. Like, please do live your life because you don't know what your life path will do down the line that could help benefit somebody else. Don't decline your life calling because you want to be in self-doubt.
Right.
Pick up the phone, put them on hold if you need to get some stuff figured out, but make that call.
I try to be a very compassionate person. I hurt when other people hurt. I've always been that way, or at least have tried to be that way. And if I can hug somebody because they need a hug, or they just need someone to talk to, I'm pretty good at that, I think.
You are.
And I still have a lot. Well, at my age, I hope I still have a lot of living to do. I'm trying to be an artist. I'm trying to do this podcast with Whisky because this is new to me. which in itself, hopefully I become a decent educator on the subject. I really, I don't know, this may be off subject a little bit, but I am saddened for humanity that we don't acknowledge the good in people, that we don't acknowledge the benefit of having the right people in your lives. And if anybody knows me or gets to know me, I hope I'm at least one of those good people you want in your life.
I like having you in my life.
I
I
know,
love
right?
you. I love you so much, Whiskey.
I love you.
You are you make me laugh, and you're amazing, and I appreciate you so much. And DJ, I know we don't see each other that often anymore, but I think about you all the time,
Oh,
and I want to
every
make
time we come around each other, it's a good time.
yeah. I want the best for you, and I hope everything's going well.
Yeah, you know me. Ain't nothing stopping this show over here.
And you know, I told DJ the other week, I said, listen, we have to plan to go bowling, you know, and everything like that. Just get out and do something. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, I'm not letting y'all out of my life. I'm gonna hold, even if y'all try to run from me, I'm gonna
Yes,
be
there's
forever on.
no going.
I'm saying, and you gonna love me.
Okay.
This has been a great show on tonight, y'all. Any final words?
I want to thank DJ. DJ, seriously, the information that you give us, updating us on some things that we weren't aware of, I think is absolutely amazing. And I appreciate your knowledge and your commitment to helping people that need help. I really certainly, I'm honored to know you, and I appreciate it. Whiskey, you know I love you.
I love you.
So I'll talk to you later, but that was my final thought.
I want to thank you all for having me on here. Like, this is the first time I've done a podcast. I was like, me? But like we said all throughout the podcast, you never know how you can help somebody else. Passing on knowledge costs you nothing, you know. So thank you for having me on. I want to say what you guys are doing is amazing.
Thank you.
Because you're getting out into your community, you're trying to spread the word, you're trying to educate, just make the world a better place. You know, you don't have to be flash, you don't have to have no studio, you are making it work however you can. So thank you for what you all are doing.
And we
Thank you very much.
We appreciate you being on, DJ. And we definitely want you to come back and even consider being a reoccurring special guest from time to time. I know you're busy and everything, but we would love, you know, that youthfulness here as well. Not that I'm old or anything. That Eric is
I'll
old.
say I'm young, but my soul is old. So I mean,
I believe that.
I bridge the gap how I view my life here.
I believe that for sure.
Yeah.
You are definitely an old soul for sure. And you've been certainly a blessing in my life. You know, as someone who considers myself sapio, you know what I'm saying? I identify as being a sapio pansexual. As far as that's concerned, I'm really turned on by people who can access me on a psychological level.
That
you know
mental
what I'm saying?
stimulation.
And yes, that mental stimulation and stuff like that. And that means so much, man, because so many people nowadays don't even know how to have a conversation.
Ooh, that's a whole nother conversation.
That's another, you know, and you know, one of the things I would like us to kind of do one day in the future, I want to do a an episode on labels. You know, I want to do because everyone doesn't identify the same. But how a person decides that they identify, we just need to have respect for them. You know what I'm saying? Because they may not identify the way you identify, but if we have love and respect for people and how they identify, one day I just want to look at because it used to be just gay, then it was gay and lesbian, then it was gay, lesbian, and bi, and then now you have all of these other acronyms, you know, and everything. And one day I want to just have that conversation as well on here also. But this has been great tonight. I love you all.
Love you.
Love you.
I'm about to end the stream, but y'all don't have to. And to everyone who's been on with us tonight that watches this podcast, please do us a favor and like, you know, comment, you know, even share with your friends and everything. This has been very informative on tonight, and we will continue. That's the good part about this. Just because we did this tonight, now people 15, 20 years from now can get this information, you know, and watch this particular podcast or this episode on tonight. All right. I love you all. Good night. Good night. Good night. You have been tuned in to Conversations with Whiskey Blue.
And Eric too.
And our special guest.
And DJ.
Yeah, good. I'm in this stream. Don't y'all go nowhere.
All right.